Send me my check in the mail. Okay. Y'all know families are very important. We gotta love our families. Because y'all know I have a brother that's handicapped. I don't care. I'll talk about anybody. Let me tell you something. And don't you dare feel sorry for him. Don't you dare. My brother is the meanest handicap that God has ever created. And he look like this every day. And he'll just sit in the front yard looking at cars all day long. He screamed at me like that one day. I was like, man, what's wrong with you? That's his favorite word. Okay, I'm telling you right now, buckle up, buckle up. I'm about to tell you the story about Rodney. One day I came home. Rodney was waiting on me in the living room. I don't know why he was always waiting on me. You know the carports where you can pull up and see that big old picture frame window? He in the window like this. And I'm like, damn, what is wrong with him today? And I knew he was going to the front door because he just disappeared out the window, right? So I go to the front door. I open the door. He was right there. I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? He made me hungry. I said, why you go ask mama to get you something to eat? Man, what the motherfucker mama get you? Motherfucker, you give me something to eat, motherfucker. So I said, okay, calm down, calm down. I'll get you something to eat. I said, you want some McDonald's? No, me want Burger King. So I took him to Burger King. Now I thought because he was handicapped, I could park in the handicapped parking lane. That wasn't true. I get out walking on normal. This dude blocked my car in so I couldn't go anywhere. I swear to God, he rolled down his window. His head was about this big. He started looking at me. I said, wow, I think I got his spot. My brother Roddy, So then he started talking, hey, you're not supposed to be parking right there. I like, man, who are you talking to? Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to be parking right there. And the dude spit at me. Why did Rodney get out the car? Yo, Rodney! Wait a minute. The dude got out of his car. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? They was about to have a handicap fight. They started swinging, but they wasn't hitting nothing. So I had to push them closer together. I told y'all to buckle up. Okay. I got to tell you this, though. I got to tell you this. Rodney whooped his ass. We driving down the street. Rodney got his head out the window. Beeloo, beeloo. I like, Rodney, get in here. What's wrong with you? He called ambulance. Beat that motherfucker ass. So Rodney went home. My mama like, what happened to Rodney? Because he had a little torn shirt. He like, beeloo, beeloo. Keep that car ambulance. Keep that motherfucker ass. Y'all think I'm lying. Rodney went in his room, got out his Rocky Balboa championship boxing belt, put that bitch on, came out in the living room. Me a champion. I would tell you this. We got in trouble with Rodney 2 days later because we caught my parents doing it nasty. I'm serious. We caught my daddy and my mom doing it. They left the door open. My daddy was in that room killing my mama. I mean, he was hitting it so hard. I'm like, damn, mama, fight back. And my daddy's a 2-time Vietnam vet. And for some reason, he can't let go. He's a drill team sergeant. You can hear him behind the door. Hi-yo, 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 hey, hi-yo, 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 hi-yo. And he did a move I had never heard before. Like, I'm like, what was that? So Rodney started walking around the house. I'm like, man, shut up. You're going to get us killed, man. So my daddy came out of the room. Who making that damn noise? And Rodney, so my daddy beating me. Because he thought I put Rodney up to it, which I didn't. Shaq, I didn't. But he wanted Rodney so bad because Rodney wouldn't shut up. He like, Rodney, come here. No! He beat Rodney across his back with a belt so hard it knocked the sound out of him. When you can hit somebody so hard, you put them on mute. Rodney turned around in slow motion. Back here. Oh, y'all think that was funny? Rodney tried to call the police on my daddy. Let me tell you what he did. He took the phone, went into the closet like nobody was gonna know he was in there. You could see the phone cord sticking out, but you had to hear the conversation between Rodney and the police department. 911. Excuse me? Sir, we can't understand you. Sir, could you please slow down? Okay. Get off your head. Get up. This is the last thing. Then I'm gonna start the show. See, this is why families are so important. Now, I don't know about white people, but I know everybody black and Latino got an uncle somewhere down the line in their family that dressed just like this. Nipples right to the belt loop. And got that one little testicle they hang on the side. And my Uncle Charlie, you ever notice when cats get old, they start leaving that one arm behind? And they be looking for their steps like that. There it is. And my Uncle Charlie, you ever notice your old school cats think they created dancing? I got to tell you this. I had go to my family reunion a couple years ago. And my Uncle Charlie was in the kitchen cooking fish. And when all my aunties are in the living room dancing, you know when you ladies get drunk, y'all all do the same dance, right? So my auntie's like, come on, girl. Yes, right, turn it up. Now I got to show you my Uncle Charlie. My Uncle Charlie heard this song, came out and lost his living mind. He's like, goddamn, what's going on out here? There it is, boy. There it is, nigga. He said, you don't know nothing about Charlie. Back it up, Charlie. Moonwalk, Charlie. He said, y'all don't know nothing about Charlie. Then he did a dance move I had never seen. He said, here we go now. My name is Arnez. I love y'all so much.
You did your thing out there. Yep. How do you feel after a great performance like that?
Being I'm a physical comedian, I feel that the audience gravitated. And once they gravitated and I won that victory, I just praise God for it. I think I did well. We had a good time.
2 million pounds of glass and steel is set to roll across one of the world's busiest runways. London's new control tower is a Goliath. But will this nail-biting journey cause a $50 million shutdown and bring chaos to the airport?
Not if I want a job tomorrow, anyway.
5 colossal crane towers weigh more than 1 million pounds. They're taller than the Statue of Liberty and are set for an icy roller coaster mountain ride. For both moves, the stakes are high. The daily dangers bring new fears. Trepidation.
This is the bit that I don't like.
Desperation.
Hold her! She ain't going nowhere because there's no drive through the axle now.
Or annihilation.
Wheels can start moving out of control, and somebody can either get hurt or killed.
2 impossibly tall towers, 2 teams with a mission to move them. Every day across the world, buildings are on the move. It's a booming business. Rather than move their furniture to a new house, owners are moving the house to a new location. Sometimes people just want a change of scenery. Occasionally, A building is in danger, like this lighthouse. The sea was about to wash it away when the movers came to the rescue. Each move is like an assault course. High-voltage power lines, flooding rivers, busy highways, and sandy beaches are among the many hazards they face. The journeys can be short, like this cafe crossing the street in search of more customers. Most moves are not so straightforward. Sometimes there's an arduous journey ahead. That's the fate awaiting these massive grain towers, which will be leaving the sleepy valley of La Rivière. The grain plant has gone out of business, so another farmer has bought the towers and wants to move them over the hill to his farm. The skyline and fortunes of this tiny village will change forever. The movers start work with the daunting task of lifting the massive structure from its foundation.
It's like jacking up your car for a flat tire. You got to jack it up, release it off the tires so you can change the tire. And what we're doing is we're jacking it up and releasing it off the foundation so we can actually move it out.
Harold Minty's one of Canada's top movers. He shifts anything: houses, barns, churches, town halls. He knows these towers will be hard to handle and could even collapse, but he plays down the risk.
It may be amazing to the normal public, but for us, we do it on a regular basis every day, so it's just another day at work.
To get these enormous towers moving takes more than elbow grease.
We're using good old ivory soap. This is the way we soap our beams. This is the way we soap our beams. This is the way we soap our beams in La Rivière, Manitoba.
It just helps it so it slides. It's just lubrication, I guess.
It's amazing how much it lubricates the steel and the slide steel on steel. We moved to church this week, and 5 minutes. Slid 30 feet to the side with hardly any effort. And it's clean.
Minty plans to slide the towers onto sets of wheels called dollies. He'll need 100 wheels for the elevator alone. He's made the bold decision to move all the buildings upright. So why has he adopted this potentially risky strategy? Why not cut the towers into smaller chunks? They would certainly be much easier to maneuver, but putting Humpty back together again would be a big problem. Why not lay them flat before moving? This might make them easier to truck. But during lowering, they could break apart. That's why Minty's decided to divide the towers into 3 super tall loads and haul them just as they stand. The first task is to swivel them around onto the road.
As we're coming out with it, then we'll be starting to load up our dollies here and put pressure on them, so it's going to be transferred onto these dollies, and we're going to be making a slight rotation with it. Oh, maybe 8 or 10 degrees.
We're going to do a little pivot and probably move it out a bit more, and I think.
Did it move there? Here she goes, boys. Well, we moved it quite a bit.
Inch by inch, they nudge the towers around. The perilous Leaning Tower is just beginning its wobbly ride out of the valley. Remarkably, the convoy must cross over a mountain midway through its journey. It's a 20-mile slog along a steep and twisty road to their new home across the prairies in the town of Somerset. Dan Stevens, the man who has bought them, is desperate for the towers to survive this hazardous journey, or his business plan will be doomed.
The railway comes by here about once every 2 weeks. They usually bring with them 25 rail cars. Each rail car holds approximately 3,300 bushels of wheat. With the Larivier elevator coming here, that'll triple what we have now.
Minty's deal with Dan is cash on delivery. He knows his best chance of success is to complete the move before bad weather sets in, but the fall storm season is approaching fast. Meanwhile, 4,500 miles away in London, England, it's taken almost 2 years to plan the move of Heathrow Airport's new control tower. Heathrow is the world's busiest international airport. 67 million passengers pass through its gates every year. Despite these staggering numbers, air traffic is expected to double over the next 2 decades, so a 5th terminal is under construction. An extra 60 gates will dramatically increase the number of planes taxiing on the far side of the airport. However, it's impossible to see this zone from the existing control tower. A much taller one needs to be built to safely control all the extra aircraft. For the best view of the entire airport, the new tower needs to be smack dab in the middle, next to Terminal 3. The only problem is, this is one of the busiest crossroads in the airport. Turning it into a construction site would cause total chaos. So the builders came up with an ingenious solution. They're building the skyscraping control tower outside the airfield perimeter, and then they'll move it in. The man who has to pull off this daunting plan is Nick Featherston.
We're pre-assembling the cab behind me here, which is 32 metres tall, weighs approximately 1,000 tonnes, and we're going to transport it vertically across the runway to its final destination at Terminal 3, which may seem like a really mad idea.
The tower's final resting place by Terminal 3 is more than a mile away from where the team is building it. Once assembled, the 2 million pound monster will be lifted up onto transporters for its journey across the airport. Nick's team have a razor-thin window of just 5 hours, 300 heart-pounding minutes in the dead of night to guide the tower into position across one of Heathrow's major runways. There's over 5,000 square feet of glass encircling the tower, which is terrific for visibility, but it makes the observation area extremely fragile. There's also 500,000 pounds of expensive equipment on the top floors, and that poses another problem for the movers.
The structure itself is inherently top-heavy, so it looks rather like a wine glass. A lot of its weight is at the top half, so and obviously to make this structure much more stable, we've had to put in place this temporary work structure behind us to reduce the centre of gravity, broaden the base, and obviously prevent it from falling over during the transportation.
The airport management is anxious about the move. It's taken months of planning. Now they try to imagine every possible thing that could go wrong.
We're on the move, we're going down the ramp, and there's a whole load of creaking and groaning out of the structure.
Again, stop, all stop. And we try and determine where the noise is coming from.
I mean, presumably this thing's likely to creak and groan anyway, but it's trying to ascertain what's normal and what's beyond the norm, I suppose, isn't it?
Okay, next scenario, a pane of glass cracks.
If the runway's blocked or damaged, it could wreak havoc on world flight patterns and cripple Heathrow's business.
If we were to close part of the runway just for a day, you're probably talking about some very big figures, certainly 30 million plus. So understandably, primary concern here is health and safety, but almost immediately behind that would be the cab stopping on the runway. So that as a business risk would be unacceptable, because it's not just a £30 million loss of revenue, it's also the share price and the bad PR that we would get from the airlines and everything else. You know, it could be a very costly day, and I'd certainly be looking for a new job, I think. So they're going to make sure it goes right on the night, simple as that.
Until the day of the move, bolts anchor the tower to the ground. The man who will release them and take charge of the move is Mike Wade.
At the moment, the whole of the cab is supported on holding down bolts. These are the holding down bolts. This is actually what's holding the whole mast at the moment. So once we've got the trailers under each corner and supporting it, we can actually remove these nuts completely, and then we'll lift the complete unit.
When the tower reaches its final destination, Mike will lock it into position with an identical set of bolts. Unlike the Heathrow Tower, The grain towers in Canada were not built for moving. The heavy grain annex is particularly tough. Minty's given the unenviable task of shifting this stubborn load to Kevin.
No, we'll just dig it out here so you can get the beam in here. Because that beam is what, 18 inches? Yeah.
We're going to cut holes in the side of the building so we can put these big hydraulic jacks in here so that we can lift the building up so we can get our beams under it. Once we get our steel beams in there, and we just put some wheels on them and we're ready to roll.
Lifting the tower is easier said than done. The walls are almost a foot thick, held together with rusty 6-inch nails. The biggest hydraulic jacks in the business struggle to lift this million-pound monster. It takes 4 hours to lift up the rear. The building leans over at a precarious angle. It's a dangerous operation. They dare not lift each side any more than a foot at a time in case it falls over. From the outside, everything looks fine, but Kevin knows something's going wrong inside. He ventures in to investigate.
The nails are splitting. So we gotta jack it up. That'll bring the rest of this up. In this messy hole.
What is down there?
Dust. Grain dust and a little bit of raccoon dust.
Although the exterior walls are lifting up, the middle remains firmly stuck to the ground. The inside walls are splitting. Things don't look good. They will have to jack each section up by hand and risk crawling under the unstable building. They know their hard hats will offer little protection if this creaking edifice collapses.
Perfect now. Just gotta check the other side. We'll be set to go.
After weeks of lifting, the annex is finally free. Even after hitching a bulldozer to his truck, the tower refuses to budge.
It doesn't want to slide. Once it's moving, it's not bad, but once it's stopped, then it takes a little jar to get it going again. So if you can keep moving with it, it'd be good. We haven't got enough power there yet to keep moving.
They are now 2 weeks behind schedule, with stormy weather closing in.
It is a soup hole. And it's actually not safe for us to be moving this elevator at this time. It's extremely slippery, and the wheels can start moving out of control, and somebody can either get hurt or killed.
The move is rained off, and it could be several months before they can escape this quagmire. Over at Heathrow Airport, a ripple of excitement greets the arrival of a special consignment from Italy.
They're the second generation SBMTs. The first generation were okay, but these are the all singing, all dancing. Very nice.
The Fagioli brothers are renowned for providing the slowest and smoothest ride in the world. These wheels will spread the load of the control tower, which weighs twice as much as a jumbo jet, and protect the concrete from damage. Each 48-wheel drive vehicle can turn a full circle, ideal for precision parking a building.
Fantastic. I just want to have a drive.
Each set of wheels is linked by computer-controlled hydraulics to the platform above to ensure it remains level, no matter what obstacles it may have to cross. With this move, there are no trucks, no drivers, no pushing or shoving. Just Roberto Radicella conducting the whole show with his magic box of tricks.
It's like a PlayStation. It's very, very simple. It's a joke.
The tower is so heavy it will need 3 sets of wheels to carry it across the airport. A giant steel pin will lock the tower to each trailer.
It runs straight in, locates in here, and then there's a closure plate that goes around the back of here that actually holds that in place.
As the last trailer is locked into position, Mike receives some bad news.
This is the bit I don't like, moderate to high lightning risk.
It's the week of the move. The construction manager in charge, Peter Schwartos, is feeling nervous, and he's a right to be. There's a threat of thunderstorms, and he's worried lightning could strike during the move.
This map shows the thunder spots, and there's one pretty close up in the Thames Valley.
Despite all the planning, they've overlooked a critical safety issue. The tower won't be grounded while on the move. It could be like walking around the airport, attached to a lightning rod.
The forecast now is showing the wind peaking around midday tomorrow, and so we've got this increasing trend that at the moment we don't feel very comfortable with. Lightning's a worry because the structure, with its height and being steel, is very prone to lightning strikes, and if it does strike while it's sitting on the trailers, it could come through the drive units and damage them, or worse still, it could injure or kill one of the operators if they're anywhere near.
The escape route for a lightning bolt could be via the Italian's control box. The shock could kill him. Over in Canada, winter has arrived early. Rain and mud have given way to snow and ice.
Here in Manitoba, wait 30 seconds, the weather will change. Look at yesterday, beautiful day like this, and then boom. Take a look at our sign. There's no flake like a snowflake.
Having sunk in the mud during the heavy rain, the wheels are now frozen solid. But this brings some unexpected benefits.
When the frost comes or the temperature drops below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius, then we've got instant concrete. The dirt is not what really freezes, it's the moisture that's in the dirt that freezes, and that gives us a very strong road base. But the flip side to that is when we're actually traveling up the hill, we've got snow and ice that's on the hills that we've got to get removed, so we've got traction.
There's a growing army of spectators who traveled from all over the province.
Fraser Prairie, Manitoba.
So how far have you come to?
How far would it be?
It's about 120 kilometers.
I think it's great. This is the best entertainment that money could buy.
In case the towers fall, the highway department holds back the crowds.
Hope nothing happens.
What might happen?
I don't know. If it falls, I guess.
Everybody's waiting for a mishap, I suppose. Getting ready to watch it tumble like a tree.
Minty's installed his own early warning device.
What we have is a plumb bob. If the elevator starts to lean to the left-hand side, this will start moving out like that, and it'll automatically tell me.
The grain elevator is packed full of machinery, which they do not want to dismantle. But this leaves the tower top-heavy and extremely unstable. If the tower leans over more than 9 degrees, there's a real danger it will fall off its wheels.
Okay, guys, there's a safety meeting. Plumb bobs, we've got that to tell us what it's actually doing on the, if it's starting to lean more than what we want it to. Another thing is is keep an eye on the hoses. If we see any hose or any fitting to start leak at all, everybody just yell shut her down and we stop. Okay? Let's go do it.
The 20-mile trek sets off at a snail's pace. Their top speed as they approach the road is a quarter mile a day. At this rate, the move will take almost 3 months. Every time there's the slightest dip in the road, they must adjust the height of each wheel to ensure the tower remains vertical.
What's going to happen is the cylinders are all going to adjust and the load's going to change. So we have to make sure that we're not going to get overextended or overbalanced on any set of dollies in here. Because if a set of dollies fails, over she goes.
Each wheel can rise and fall by a foot to follow the contours of the road. The gradient is so dangerously steep as they leave the site that they have to raise the front with blocks of wood to prevent it from leaning forward.
1 foot here!
Every yard they travel requires constant adjustments. It's a painfully laborious process.
Yeah, we're balanced out again.
It has taken an entire day to travel just a quarter of a mile. As the convoy crosses the valley, it faces its first major obstacle, a steep hill covered in ice. The towers leave behind a gaping hole in the town. Its character will be changed forever.
It's going to be like there's something missing. It would be nice if it would stay so that it would hold the town more so together and not there for more business and not there, because as soon as an elevator goes, other people, they start going away.
The population of neighboring town Snowflake shrank from 800 to just 10 when its grain towers closed down.
Well, I lived in Snowflake. As soon as the elevator went, systematically everything started to go. It took a few years. You know, there was a store, there was fuel tanks there, and a little garage, and now there's nothing left there.
La Riviere could well become the next ghost town to haunt the prairies. The next morning is the start of the day they've been dreading, the long haul up the hill. They brought in 2 more trucks to push from behind, but it's still not enough. Even with 2 bulldozers pulling at full power, they can still only achieve a speed of a half a mile an hour. The higher they climb, the steeper the road becomes. Rick keeps a watchful eye on the plumb bob.
Half an inch. Apparently the grade really picks up as we get up here towards the top. So we're going to hit more incline as we go.
Halfway up the hill, the tower starts to lean back at a dangerous angle. It's approaching the 9-degree limit, and this icy road is getting steeper.
Obviously swinging to the left here.
Yeah.
real steep.
So we got an inch on that cylinder yet, or half an inch.
Just peachy.
Yeah.
The tower is stuck in the worst possible place, a snow-covered bend on the steepest part of an exposed hill. If the wind picks up, it could knock the tower over. This is what happened to heavy haulers Don Weeb and Vern McQueen.
We didn't realize how strong the wind was, and we should have known.
Like Minty, the team were hauling a grain elevator out of a valley when a huge gust of wind roared over the mountain, causing the tower to topple.
Broke up like a loaf of bread. If you had a loaf of sliced bread and you just standing there and you just tip it over, it falls over and breaks off in sections. That's exactly what the elevator did.
Back on the hill, a blizzard is moving in. The highway's boss, Glenn Chikosky, decides to close the roads.
Can you and Jimmy bring the Bear road closed sign and barricade ahead sign around?
Okay, there's probably no way we can get by the elevator, eh?
No, you're toast on the edge. Come on around, you're paid by the hour.
Okay.
We're gonna try and peel all the excess snow and ice off and put some sand down for traction and get them going again.
Minty's worried. He knows that if the hill gets much steeper ahead, he may not have enough traction to shift the load.
Raise it. That's too much. Think tight. Up.
He needs to measure the gradient of the road. If it's greater than 10%, he's in trouble.
Okay, how much?
38 and a half.
28 and a half? 30.
Almost 10% now.
We got 40 inches on 40 feet.
So that's 10 inches on 10 feet.
The crew raise the rear dollies as high as they will go. Even then, the tower's leaning dangerously close to the 9-degree limit. They will have to load up the trucks with extra weight to provide enough traction to make it over the hill.
Well, on the other truck, we have a 20,000-pound counterbalance. This one we didn't have to bring another counterbalance with us, so we improvised.
The local quarry was happy to lend some weight to unblock the road.
Apply more weight over the axles, and that's going to give us better traction and more power to push with.
There's 3 feet of snow forecast for tonight. So the crew are desperate to get the whole convoy up the hill by the end of the day. They've called in every bulldozer in the valley to haul the remaining towers to the top before nightfall.
Well, this is why we want to get out of here. This stuff.
After 20 hours of struggling through sleet and snow, the crew finally reached the summit.
Not worried for my life anymore. You know, little load off our minds. Money in the bank. There we go.
At Heathrow, final preparations are underway for the move. The mountains that keep this crew awake at night are less than an inch high.
By the time you turn.
Oh, that's okay. That's just a new slab, is it?
New slab.
All right. Slight step, but it's not a problem. That's not a problem for the trailer. And And there's a couple of new patches in here.
It's pavement quality, it'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, it's not a problem. No, that's
not a problem.
Mike Wade and his move team are scouring the route. The smallest obstacles can become major hazards.
So where it turns to kilo 23, what's kilo 23? It's 363.
They need to plot the control tower's precise route. They calculate it will need 4 major turns to complete the 3,000-yard journey, so that on arrival, the base of the tower will align to within a fraction of an inch of its new foundation.
In theory, here, you could start your slide turn. Now, if I can, at the end of the building there, see that sign in the very distance, that yellow one? So off to where
The lack of distinct landmarks in this concrete wasteland leaves plenty of room for navigational error. So Mike has decided to use satellite navigation.
When we're in the middle of the apron here, there aren't any markers, so by using the GPS we can actually find the points on the night and determine where we start the turn. So we're about here now, are we?
Well, just yeah, you're there or thereabouts now, which is the start of the turn. Oh. And I'll go and mark.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's 6 a.m. and the morning of the move. Months of planning are about to be put to the test. The first job is to clear away all debris from the tower. Every loose item must be secured. Anything falling off could be a danger to the move crew. Just before the green light, there's one final safety check. The tower will be passing into the airport's operational zone, so it will undergo the same security checks as any other cargo or passenger.
It's moving into a restricted area where everything has to be thoroughly checked. And this is just another item, although a rather large item. It's got to be thoroughly checked before it goes through.
While Spud is sniffing for explosives, Minnie is hunting for illegal drugs. At 10 o'clock, the weather is not looking good, so the crew will have to wait before they can start work on the move. Nick is in constant contact with the weather center.
So the only thunderstorm is that we had the Beta Biscay. All right, Spike, thanks for your help on that. Cheers now, bye. He's saying that after 8 p.m, 26 miles per hour, gusts up to 32.
My instincts are that we plough on through all of this down to that point there.
And that is the point where we lift and we're passing that point of no return, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick faces a dilemma. Storms are forecast to fall over London tonight, raising the risk of lightning. In the hope the forecast will improve later, he keeps the crew on site. It's now 5 o'clock. The original plan was to take 6 hours rest in the afternoon. If they keep going, by the end of the move, they will have worked 24 hours without a break. Nick and Peter call an emergency meeting.
If we stand the team down pretty much straight after 6 o'clock and say come back at 9:30, when the storm finishes at 10:30 and we're confident of that, are you happy then to complete the move?
Our general feeling is that we're not happy to do that. We've had a full day. That's not a very long break by the time we get back. Starting doing the lift in the dark, we feel that that's a lot of pressure when people are going to be tired and fatigued.
No, I mean, we're, just to let you know, we're fully supportive of that, guys. I mean, I'm obviously under quite a lot of pressure here to make a decision, and as far as I'm concerned, this is the right decision.
The decision to call off the move will come as a blow to Heathrow's management. To reschedule to another day will be a logistics nightmare. Nick is not looking forward to breaking the news.
We've asked a direct question, do they feel comfortable to continue given the amount of sleep they've had? And I think the view is that they don't, they're just too tired. on balance, from a technical point of view, we look to defer. So I suppose the debate we're now into is to defer to when. Obviously, from my team's perspective, we'd like to just try again tomorrow night, but obviously we need to work through the business implications of that.
The situation is, today has been, weather-wise, has been an excellent day. I would have thought good progress could be made, but we haven't made the preparation. That work has not been done. The afternoon weather today was mild, sunny, clear, excellent weather.
Sorry, I mean, the preparation hasn't been done because the prediction was there was going to be lightning. And at the moment, we've assessed those risks.
What are you saying tonight? I mean, why are we sitting here then? Are we sitting here because there's a chance, or are we saying no?
No, I think it's no.
It's not, right, okay.
The move is off tonight. And before it can be rescheduled, every airline and operator within Heathrow must be alerted.
I mean, you've got BA, World Cargo and Ops we talked about earlier.
Anyone else?
Back in the prairies, they are beginning the long trek across the flatlands. It's taken 3 whole days to travel the first mile up and over the hill, so now they hope to pick up some speed.
No time for a cigarette. Put those away.
Rick smoking again.
This is a 20-minute journey by car, but when you're driving a 160-foot tower, a small kink in the road can bring the convoy to a grinding halt.
Now we just have the dip.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it.
At each dip and turn, they must stop and reset the rig. It can take several hours to negotiate a single pothole.
Unchain it all, stick in some blocks, chain it all up, get to the other side, unchain it all, take them out.
With a 180-wheel convoy, the chance of flat tires is high.
Oh, tire spun and ripped the valve stem out. Just a minor inconvenience.
They've been working 16-hour days to keep the show on the road.
We've been on this job so long and on the road for so long. Now we got pigeons riding with us. This is our good luck bird here now, folks. It's his home away from home. It's a mobile home as far as he's concerned.
To keep things rolling, an advance party goes ahead to make sure there's nothing blocking their path.
Well, you can't get around it really. Like, there's no road without signs.
But some obstacles make even Minty's men stop in their tracks. Minty's hopes of reaching Somerset by the weekend could be scuppered by these high-voltage power lines. It's take 2 for the Heathrow move. Despite the forecast of more unsettled weather, the control tower is ready for liftoff.
There still is a moderate chance of lightning today, that's the forecast. But we expect it to be over by about lunchtime.
This time, they're prepared for lightning. They've installed a temporary grounding wire.
If we do experience a lightning storm when we've backed off and we're sitting waiting for the go tonight, it means if we do get struck by lightning, it'll come through here rather than damaging the trailers.
With the tower grounded, it's safe to lift the building off its foundation. 1,000 tons of glass and steel are now in Roberto's hands. They wait for clear skies, and at 10 o'clock, receive the green light to go.
Prepare to invite.
There's no turning back now. They need to reach the runway by 11 o'clock. It's vital that Roberto is not distracted. He needs 100% concentration. No one else is allowed to walk alongside. The rest of the moving team must keep their distance.
I think I might cry. Where's it going?
It's a disconcerting spectacle for the tower's design team.
It's the first time I've seen one of my buildings disappearing off into the distance like that. And just watching those transporters go off down that ramp there. The front ones pick up, the rear ones come down. It just keeps the entire mast vertical. Wonderful bit of technology. Fabulous stuff.
They make it to the runway on time, only to discover there are more planes waiting to take off. There's a Qantas aircraft blocking their path. Peter calls air traffic control.
We're parked up on the stand, waiting for permission to cross the runway. Current information is that will be about 11-ish.
They know that if the tower is not cleared to cross the runway soon, the first flights the next morning could be delayed.
About 5.5 hours time we'll be back up to peak flow again, and we're literally 1 plane per minute will be going out of the airport, so certainly don't want to be leaving this thing anywhere near the runway tonight. Not if I want a job tomorrow anyway.
At 11:15, they finally get the all clear to cross the runway.
Thanks, Joe.
Ready to go.
A team of spotters march behind the tower. Armed with brushes and trash cans, they're on the lookout for any debris that might fall off the tower. A stray screw could cause devastating damage to a plane on takeoff. By midnight, the tower completes its graceful glide across the runway. Now it must make 3 precision turns to ensure perfect docking with its new foundation.
Must be about another 50 yards, 70 yards.
After 3 hours of careful maneuvering, Roberto steers the tower into its new position near Terminal 3. Amazingly, after traveling over a mile, its final resting position is accurate to within 1/10 of an inch.
We just moved a 1,000-ton object within 2 or 3 mil. Fantastic. What else can you ask for? Apparently they've just been lucky.
3, 2, 1, hey!
After a photo call, the team are ready to celebrate.
We might try and get one last cool lager just to send ourselves to sleep nicely tonight. Looking forward to a good night's sleep, actually. I can rest easy.
This is one move that will benefit millions of people. Minty's convoy has ground to a halt.
Those are big power lines that feed the U.S.
What's wrong with them?
They happen to be in our way. The nerve of them.
These 230,000-volt power lines can't be raised high enough for the towers to pass underneath. Minty has some ingenious ways of dealing with obstacles like this.
What's fun about this is that we can do this and get away with it.
With the temperature approaching -20, Minty thinks it will be safe to drive over these cables if they can be buried in the frozen road.
The beauty of working in the winter.
One by one, the wheels cross over this final hurdle. With the last of the major obstacles overcome, the end of this epic road trip is in sight. It's a surreal start to the day for the inhabitants of Somerset. These giants cast frightening shadows through bedroom windows as they lumber through town.
They're big, aren't they?
The prospect of new jobs mean the towers receive a triumphant welcome.
We're here!
Like a big sleeping giant coming through a small little quiet town. It's awesome! See all the way to the top.
The arrival of the towers is a huge relief to the new owner, Dan Stevens.
It's an awesome project.
After 7 days on the road, the grain farm finally reaches its new home. For Minty and his gang, it's payoff time.
It's just good to get it over with so we can pack up our stuff and go home and go to the bank.
Delivery here for you.
You do?
Yeah, brought it all the way in from Lariviere.
What do you got for me today?
I think I got a little elevator here that you might want to use.
Well, I don't think that's the one I ordered out of the catalog.
Oh, I think it is.
I think I want you to bring that back.
Okay, take it back there.
Bring me the right one.
Okay, I'll try and do that.